Welcome to my Club of Cottontales. You found me as Kottontale is moist. Are you moist? I know I am. To be moist is simply to be 100% yourself, regardless of what any motherfucker thinks of you. Be my foot sugar daddy? Serious inquiries, I'm Cottontale on Feet Finder. Help a single mom out? We got the apartment. That's probably going to be like the first thing that we put literally until we move. It's very exciting. Um, Today, I actually didn't do any. Well, okay, I did a little bit of packing because I put some blankets into a tub. So I guess I did do some packing, but for the most part, I'm not going to do any packing today. I did, however, like dust off all of the big boxes that I have, so then I can start packing up Rainbow's room. Um, it's just little things here and there. Um, and we have so much time. I don't know why I feel the pressure to just like get everything packed up, and so it's waiting. It's literally the 5th of May. We have 26 days until we move. There is plenty of time to pack. Um, but I just like I don't know. I'm so I'm taking the suggestion of my nest friend, who was like, I think you should relax, but I'm sure you'll do some packing. And she was right. I did some. I put blankets into a tub that was in Junior's room, and I also, gathered all of the boxes, dusted them off. I was actually kind of surprised. There was no real spiders like living in the boxes. The boxes were just covered in cobwebs and things, so that was kind of cool. I did come across one spider who was on the wall. Poor thing was so fucking scared. I didn't know if it was alive or dead, so I blew on it, and it was like, ah, and then just like fucking ran to the shadows. It was like, oh my god, I don't want to die. And I'm like, it's okay, spider. I'm so sorry I scared you. Oh, man. So, before we monologue ourselves into missing 420 somewhere, because I actually haven't had any medicine today other than my pill medications. Um, and really, on days where I don't have Amber Jr., I honestly don't need the medicine as much. I do need it for pain, but for triggers, I'm not as triggered when I'm alone than when I'm with my tiny human. But I did manage to obtain a little bit of bud because we wore it completely out. I went and I counted out pennies, took the bus to Bottle Drop, dropped off my bottles, and don't you know, I wasn't fucking thinking. I picked up more bags, and I always get 2 boxes, right? Well, that shit's almost $4. And I was like, oh my god, I should have just only gotten one box. Like, the fuck was I thinking? But thankfully, I was able to get my 2 boxes, and I still had 247. Go fucking figure, right? When I saw that 47, I'm like, oh, meant to be. So I pulled the $2 off, put it with the 25 cents that we saved on the bus because apparently, I don't know, like I had counted out $1.25, but I guess that, I don't know. I only had to do like half of my change and it was good to go. So that's cool. Um, so I took the 25 cents that was remainder from the bus trip and put it with my $2. $2.25 gets me 1 gram of bud, which street value, this is $10. That's wild. I can't believe I ever paid $10 for something like that. I just can't even fucking fathom that. Not a part of like, and I did dishes, so I've done some stuff around the cave. I definitely can just take a break, especially because we went out and about, and with going out and about, it was rainy and the bus is triggering. Like, I definitely deserve to just kind of like take the rest of this day for myself. Especially because tonight I have to do my sleep study. I've been putting it off, and it's not good. I also need to make a dentist appointment because I'm supposed to get my gums checked and then possibly another cleaning, and like, I kind of want to do that before we move, but I don't, yeah. Whew. overwhelming myself. Okay. I don't want to overstuff it. It's the worst thing you can do when you're limited on your buds is overpacking, because essentially part of it won't even get toked. You end up cashing it out. So, and I'm trying to get this to last as long as we possibly can. Like, if I could just do what's in the grinder and then we end up saving this for tomorrow, beautimous. And I may not even need it. I may just save it until Wednesday when I have to go get my daughter from school. But it was 1:18 when I looked at the clock. Okay, it's 1:19. That means it's 4:19 for the East Coast. West Coast is the best coast, but East Coast is the beast coast. I feel like amazing right now. Honestly, a huge part of this toke is going to be for physical pain, because my brain actually feels pretty good right now. I think a lot of it is, I love cleaning. So when yeah, I think that's why I enjoy packing so much. Oh my god, it's 1:20 right this moment. It's 4:20 somewhere. Let's put up our woohoo little horn with a green heart representing my second favorite color, but also the color of my imitation. I noticed that we had a person pop in, but they popped out. They did not leave an opinion or anything. Kind of interesting, but, whatevs. Only thing that we truly need is me, myself, and I. So cheers, our first toke of the day, and it's 4:20 somewhere. Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. Very nice. Holy shit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, what's so hilarious is now that we're in Club Cottontale, feeling a bit relaxed, got a little medicine in us. I'm like, maybe I'll pack some more. I'm like, bitch, let's just relax, ho. Like, we got plenty of time to get shit done. Like, so far in my bedroom, I've been like, basically, whenever I fill a box, if there's empty space, I fill it with knickknacks. Like, which is hilarious because I saved a bunch of tiny boxes specifically for my knickknacks. Whatevs. Um, but I got all of my stuffed animals except for the ones that I'm gonna keep out. That will like literally go into my overnight bag when I go to move. But all of my stuffed animals are packed. All of my books, all of my makeup, um, which was really fucking satisfying. All of my makeup fit in one box. At first I started filling up one box, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot that I have another palette. So I had to repurpose it into another box, but it really worked out nicely. And originally I wasn't going to leave any makeup out, but I was like, oh, I at least need my under eye cream. And I was like, well, and I guess I need my moisturizer. So after that I was like, fuck it, let's just grab an eyeliner, a mascara, and a highlighter for just in case, I want to do a quick makeup. I doubt it, but I'd rather have it out than be like, oh, I want to do my makeup, but it's packed up. um, Same thing with my nail stuff. I might, yeah. Oh, man. One of the next things I plan on doing, which is, I thought I was going to do it today, but it will be a lot, is clearing the knickknacks from this corner so then I can put all of my board games. Get all of my board games packed, all of my VHSs and my DVDs. Um, there is some DVDs that I know that Rainbow might want to have out, so I'll keep a few of those. Like, I have an Elmo DVD that, I mean, I'm sure we could find the specific episodes, but it wouldn't be all just compiled in that one little thing. Um, but most of the movies we have, we can find it on the variety of streaming platforms we have. We literally have almost all of the streaming platforms. Like, I think Peacock is the only one I don't have, because I have Paramount Plus, I have Prime, Max, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus. I even have Tubi, which is free. Um, and another one. There's another one that's a free one that I had signed up for that I can't remember the name of. What's funny is the only reason I even added Tubi is there was a movie that I wanted to watch and it was available there, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, Tubi, what the fuck is even that? And I looked, I was like, oh, this is free. And it's funny is I think vaguely in the past, my old friend Nicole tried to tell me about it, but Nicole's never really understood how anxious I am, which is really frustrating when my friends who have mental health challenges don't care to try to understand mine. But that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I have the people in my life that are going to be there for life. And if I only ever have, my two best friends who are long distance, then so be it. Um, the love and affection that I get from Ray and Kayla is unbelievable. Um, their love, along with the love of my daughter, is what's keeping me in this fleshy form, like straight up. Because I'm just kind of doing motions because otherwise I'm like, what's the fucking point? Um, I've really been struggling with the fact of like not having my mother in my life. Like, I have two living parents. My father and mother are both alive, but I don't talk to either of them. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it. I'm sad, but I'm not mad about it because toxic is toxic. But it's just shitty when I think about my life and growing up, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, my mom didn't even fucking want us, you know what I mean? She has told me numerously about how my birth father was a sex fiend and would always just go for her. Like, she had a lot of miscarriages because he just kept going for her. Like, why would you tell your child that? And I was like, do you tell Nathan this stuff? And she's like, no, why would I tell him that? I'm like, why would you tell me? Like, especially, like, I'm one of his victims too. Why the fuck would you tell that? I kind of feel like my mother wanted to keep me in fear because when someone is scared, they're more controllable. And I'm a very wild spirited free thinker. So really, fear is the only way that you can get me to do certain things. Like, if you got me scared, of course I'm just going to comply because I don't want to rift the boat. I don't want to drown because I capsized my own boat. But in all actuality, I had a life vest on the whole time and I should have capsized that shit. Damn. Gotta love medicine. My brains are literally like, we actually kind of enjoy life right now. And I'm like, if I had had more bud, I would have toked earlier, but 'twas not the case. 'Twas not the case. I think that's something that's really frustrating is even when I think I don't need it, oh, we still need it. Hopefully we get some people to come chill and chat with me. I am going to send the meeting to, a few people that may tune in, probably won't, but, you never know. Like my sissy wolf, I would really love for her, like, get back a hold of me. Like, what is up? Like, I want to tell her so much. And I'm sure she lurks, so she probably already knows. But it's like, I wanna talk about it. Talk about it. I literally feel so much motivation to just start packing shit right now. But I'm like, you must take a break. Like, we have plenty of time, and it doesn't, if I really wanted to, I probably could pack up the whole house today. Like, that's how efficient we are. As long as we don't get distracted. The longest portion is having to dust everything off before we put it into the boxes, because I I gave up on dusting certain things because living in a basement that has low ceilings and no fucking windows, everything is dirty. Everything is dusty. Like, there is absolutely no point in trying to dust anything other than your electronics. Like, I'm amazed that my PlayStation even still works because the amount of dust that the poor thing is taken in. So I'm trying to, I have a very big sweet tooth. I tend to add sugar, copious amounts of sugar to like my teas and stuff like that because I like the sweetness. I'm trying to get myself to do more natural sweetness, like honey. So in my lemon tea, and I chose lemon because I knew the lemon would go really well with the honey. Honey just unfortunately, honey I think is ruined for me because I'd gotten some medicine that had honey in it, thinking like, oh, this is gonna help it to go down, which it did. It didn't burn my throat, but now I don't like the taste of honey. And I used to be the type of person like, put honey on my biscuit, put honey on my chicken, like finish the little bit that was in it. Like, I like honey or liked honey. Now, like, I was drinking my tea and I was like, ugh. it was sweet enough, but we didn't like the flavor. I was like, ugh. And also, it was really interesting, pouring hot water onto the honey because sugar like instantly dissolves in hot water. Honey, some of the water bounced off of it at first. I was like, oh, gotta pour it slower. And it was just very intriguing. And then obviously honey has a color, so then the water has a color to it before we've even added the lemon. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh. Ooh, you know what I'm about to put on? Dark History, baby. What's wild is we only have two more after this episode, and then we're caught up. Like, maybe it's time to get it all off your chest. Highlight reel can focus. Visit BetterHelp.com.
I was traveling from DC to Massachusetts. Bad weather became an issue, and during the final approach, the plane crashed in an apple orchard.
I'm so glad I'm an organized person because everything is like in its spot. You know, I know where everything was when I was going through it. Very, very happy about that. I hope that we don't run out of boxes. Um, that is a smidgen of a worry, is running out of boxes, but we should be okay. We already have a designated box that we're going to put all of our cleaning stuff in. Um, man. I just feel like, oh, it's like I feel like I'm not going to get everything done, but I know I will. Ugh.
To make a run for president. But understandably, Ted was terrified. I mean, sure, he wanted the job, but Time magazine reported that Ted also had a quote, doomed feeling about the prospect. And I mean, Ted himself even addressed the elephant in the room about running for president. He reportedly said, quote, I know that I'm going to get my ass shot off one day, and I don't want to. End quote. Fair, fair. Yeah. But either way, the summer of 1969 rolls around and Ted's presidential image is gaining some serious heat. It's looking like a sure thing that he's going to be the front runner for the upcoming presidential election.
Oh,
That is, until one fateful night, Ted's world came crashing down. Well, he did some stupid shit, okay? Listen, because the day is July 18th, 1969. Ted and a bunch of friends are in Martha's Vineyard. Here it's real fancy.
cool.
But it's like an island where rich white people race expensive boats and
We'll
be
get
rich
that,
and stuff.
which is
Wear
pretty
like the
cool.
sweaters tied around their neck. Yeah.
I see there's some
And that's
stuff they've
exactly
added to
why Ted was
Lego.
there. Ted was racing in the Kennedy
Apparently
family's
there's like a whole
prized
thing
sailboat.
in Lego.
Because of course they had one. So later that day, they all went to a different island called Chappaquiddick for a cookout. I know, I wonder what kind of
Help the
food they
river surviving by building up Rubber Village and using
Anyways, but Ted had co-hosted the
tools
event
like
for people
lightsabers,
who worked in his brother's
DL4,
campaign
blasters,
the year
and thermal
before.
detonators
Almost like it was
to deal with
closure
any
for
foes
everyone
you may
after the
encounter.
assassination. But here's the thing. The party was thrown specifically for
So
a group of
interesting.
6 women who were all single. So these 6 women were known as the Boiler Room Girls because they had worked in a windowless room in Bobby's election office. He's like, get up some sunlight, goddamn. You got the money, bro. Well, the day party turned into a night party. They were all drinking. A lot, okay? Oh, it's around 11:15. Ted decides to get behind the wheel of a black Oldsmobile, and riding shotgun was one of those boiler room girls. Her name was Mary Jo Cuntent. Now, Mary Jo was described as a smart 28-year-old political staffer who worked on both JFK's and Bobby's campaigns. So yeah, she liked working for the Kennedys. To this day, there's all sorts of speculation as to why Ted and Mary Jo were in the car together. You know, like, were they headed to Town? No one really knows why they were together. Okay? I'm sure we can use our imagination, but But according to Ted, he was saying that Mary Jo had gotten sick.
Damn it!
He was taking her
Ah, motherfucker.
go back to her hotel and sleep. The ferry was the only way to get from the island back to the beach. So Ted is driving, as one does. So he's driving, and he's been drinking. He's driving, and then at some point he drove the car off a bridge, and it landed upside down in a pond. Don't drink and drive, kids and adults. Stop being idiots. Anyways, so they're upside down in the pond. And even with a head injury, Ted somehow managed to get out of the car. But Mary Jo did not. According to testimony, Ted said he dived down to the car like 7 or 8 times during a 20-minute period trying to save Mary Jo. But I guess he was just never able to get her. So Ted ends up walking back to a cottage at like 12:15 a.m. where 2 of his closest friends are. Ted gets to these guys and tells them what happened. And the 3 of them return and again like try to get down there and retrieve Mary Jo.
Dude, I love how like now I've gotten some herbal medicine in me, and I literally am just like, let's pack. which I may end up doing some packing later on. But let's just take a fucking break. You know, it's 1:38 in the afternoon. It's Sunday. It's May 5th. Revenge of the 5th. Cinco de Mayo.
Well, what? You know, like, make it make sense. And I guess when he arrives back into town, Ted doesn't report what happened. Instead, he goes back to the hotel to, like, change his clothes. And then, I guess, he just paced in his room until 7 a.m. I don't know, I feel like he could have called the cops, right? Oh, okay. Then at 7:30 a.m., outside the hotel, Ted runs into the guy who won the sailboat race the day before. He's like, yeah, sick sailboat. I guess they just chatted about, like, boats. Yeah. And Ted even said that, like, yeah, bitch, we have breakfast in town. So everyone who saw Ted that day said he looked, like, normal, like, nothing to him. You know, like, he didn't just drive into a wheel into a car and kill a man. So it isn't until 10 a.m. when Ted contacts the police to tell them about the car. Mary Jo Peckney's body remains stuck in the car under the pumping water for about 10 hours before she was retrieved. Ted, that's fucked up. So when the Chime incident broke in the national news, of course people went nuts. There were some questions like, why were they together in the car? Why did the car go through? Is there something Ted is hiding? Well, obviously, he's spending the money to set up and kill someone, you know? There's a whole lot of people who think that Ted didn't call the cops right away because, you know, he was drunk. He didn't want that blood alcohol test. If he were driving drunk and we evidence of illegal activity, Ted would get booked for involuntary manslaughter. All this stuff Ted would know because laws in Louisiana. And then, okay, so the news comes out or whatever, and then all of a sudden, Ted is spotted publicly running a boat race on multiple occasions. And nothing else looked injured, which is weird that makes me. It just feels a little FOMO on me. Like, hey, Mary Jo just died. I were to see my nan not. In a national televised speech the week after Mary Jo's death, Ted claimed he didn't drive drunk, and there was no moral conduct happening. He then blamed his weird actions after the accident on his concussion, shock confusion, caused by parking on the road and into the pond. Ted blamed everything, but he was like, the road was unlit, the bridge was narrow, no guardrails. Just saying words. Not telling the truth. Well, actually, the truth is that we'll never really know what happened in June, but I'm sure we all guess, right? He should have contacted the police, fucked up. But what we know for sure is that this essentially ended any chance of Ted looking for his men, which is ironic because all this happened while a brother 9/11 was landing on a boat. You know, an event that his brother Jacob came promised would happen when he was president. Ted eventually pled guilty to the scene of an accident and spent 0 time in jail.
Oh, fuck.
Even though his shot at the presidency was over, he did continue on in the Senate for another 40 years. Take me a minute, guys, to be in the Senate for 40 years. Wow. And to be fair, I mean, during this time, he did some great work. He helped pass some like major laws and stuff, but over the years, for Kennedy family members
Woo! Yeah, fucking
for
fourth.
example, Bobby, the one who was also assassinated, his son Michael had died at the age of 39 after a skiing accident, and JFK's son George Jr. died in a plane crash in 1999 along with his wife Carolyn. No, I mean, it's clear the Kennedy family should just stay away from airplanes. And hey, I mean, these men are risk takers, I guess, but even so, it really feels like there may be some truth to this whole like curse thing, right? Look, curse or not, there are two types of people in this world.
I'm so cute.
Something around
I
the
love
Kennedy
myself so
bloodline,
much.
and people who say they're not, who think they can get away with anything. Or maybe even you're in the middle and you're like, who? I don't know, maybe you're just born, you know, recently. Welcome to Earth. Whatever side you land on. Can't deny that this family is the closest thing America may ever have to a royal family.
Ooh, squishy, squishy.
It's kind of easy to like gloss over some of the incredible stuff they did. For example, Eunice Kennedy invented the Special Olympics. JFK created the Peace Corps, and he launched the space program as we know it. The family has more charities, foundations, and non-profits than you can count, and you can't deny their commitment to public service. Now, from 1946 to 2024, there's only been 4 years where there wasn't a Kennedy in the United States Congress. Can you believe that? I know. You can say they're only able to do that because of their privilege. I mean, yeah, sure, that is true. But they also could have done, like, nothing with their money and privilege and just be rich. You know, a lot easier. And to be clear, you shouldn't be let off the hook for anything. Especially, like, I don't know, reckless driving that results in murder. And we all know, if you put someone on a pedestal and you look at them like they're gods, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And while we're on the subject of celebs, we need to go back next week because they were at the center of a bloody event from American history that no one talks about. Oh God, what is it? Back in the early 1800s, actors in the theater were America's gangsters. And their fans would like do anything for them, even if that meant turning New York into a war zone and murdering innocent people. Super fans, they call them. Next week, we're going to learn about the Gangster Police riot. Okay, you got it? Anything sociopath this book? Woo! Well, what was that? Learned something new? I hope so. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today.
555.
Men and women are made by hand in over 200 individual steps from premium bovine and exotic hides and designed to send you off in comfort and a personal style. That's all you don't that'll put folks. When comfort leads with boots, then you should pull on a pair of Tacovas. Comfortable right out of the box and available in dozens of times, men's, women's styles. Their handcrafted boots are ready to put the world at your feet.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel like you're winning. Kroger brand.
This is one of those stories that caught my eye. Of course it did. But apparently she attended a play in Denver, Colorado. This was in 2023. And it was just not any play. It was Beetlejuice, the musical. Which, that's already a lot to take in. But apparently Miss Lauren upstaged the show. I know, like, how do you upstage the Beetlejuice musical? In my personal opinion, upon viewing the clip, it seemed like she was giving this guy next to her a handy while vaping. Just really not paying attention to the show. I know, I was like, so why are you there? It's so high school. Like, I heard Christy gave Bobby a handy in the auditorium. And here's this government employee, a grown adult, doing this. Like, what about the children who saw? Also, if he finished, what about those children that never got to be? They died on those seats. Anyway, she was causing such a scene that she was kicked out of the theater for, quote, causing a disturbance. And it became this huge thing. But Lauren wasn't the first to cause a ruckus at the theater. One of America's deadliest riots actually started inside a theater in New York. This rivalry turned into a blood-soaked tragedy in the streets. And I was like, whoa, I never heard anyone talk about this before. This is the story of the Astor Place riot. Hi friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Bailey Sarian and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Dark History. Here we believe history does not have to be boring. I mean, yes, it might be tragic. Sometimes it's happy. But either way, it's our dark history. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and let's talk about that hot, juicy history, guys. So today, our story focuses on a feud so petty and so blown out of proportion that people were literally killed in the streets. This is the story of the first celebrity beef in America. It starts all the way back in 1776. After the Revolution, America essentially broke up with England. And ever since that day, it feels like we have had issues. Like even today, right? Right after the breakup, anything that looked British, tasted British, smelled British, or any part of it. Pretty much America wanted to go like no contact. Because of this, Congress forbids any trade with England. And this meant stuff you would expect like food, or animals, even clothes. But also entertainment. I was like, how do you have entertainment? I mean, it's not something you can eat or hold like food or clothes. But they did it. No British actors, no British plays, no Shakespeare for you to me. No. Now this was a major bummer because most entertainment back then was British theater. I mean, they were the masters on it. But eventually, as the years went on, Americans kind of forgot why they were mad at England. They're like, I kind of like tea, you guys. Like, what's wrong with tea? So the U.S. government throws out those anti-trade laws that were set in the first place. So after 1850, British stuff starts making its way into America, like manufactured goods, but also British entertainment, like theater. Eventually, Shakespeare's plays are legally allowed to be printed in the U.S. Now, this was huge because not only was Shakespeare a big deal back then, but also it was really like the only way to escape from early 1800s life and see like something entertaining, you know? There's tragedy, comedy, sex, wigs. I mean, it had it all. So now the everyday person had access to this like never before. Reading Shakespeare back in the early 1800s wasn't like the same as it is today. Today, many of us think of it as kind of, I think, like maybe a word scramble, kind of bougie. I mean, it feels like you gotta be smart to understand it. And the Shakespeare
cheese for dinner.
You love it, and I get it.
But in order to do that, I gotta wash the pots. I knew I should have washed the big one first.
Class, low class,
But they also need to
Dion,
soak anyways.
you name
But
it,
I'd like to make mac
they
and
liked
cheese.
it, okay? It was like
Make
Dan
some mac and
Brown,
cheese with some
you know,
green
like
beans on the
airport
side.
workers in Boston and Philadelphia,
Sounds
which
bomb.
were like the biggest American cities at the time. They started building new theaters to show
Maybe
some
I'll make
Shakespeare
chicken
plays.
sandwiches.
And everyone was hoping and praying theater would become everyone's go-to entertainment. I mean, back then, like, what else are people gonna do? Obviously, when you set up a theater, the first thing you gotta do is, like, bring in actors. And where there's actors, there's drama. So two of the biggest theater actors in the 1800s were a British guy named William McCready and an American guy named Edwin Forrest.
I love you too, Blueberry. They look like an awesome little totem pole.
Beef. It's kind of like if you watch Housewives, think like,
Oh, here we go. I could be on the top. Just insert me behind Eddie.
same thing, kind of. But instead, two drama nerds, and they hated each other. And their hate would take the tragedy from the stage and into the streets. Now, Paul, did you do something different today?
Ring! Oh,
Look
shit,
at your
there's a new one.
hair. I love it.
Whoa.
So cute. John does it too, huh, Joe?
Whoa!
Jealous. Made that yourself? Get out of here.
Whoa, okay.
Very talented, Paul.
Okay.
You know what? You need to
Oh,
start
there's
a
two ways to go.
website.
Oh,
Sell
boy.
your things when you're making them, right? And to do that, Paul, you know what you need? Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out
This is a
or
brand
managing
new
a
one.
growing brand, Squarespace makes it a little too easy to create a beautiful website. You can engage with your audience and even sell anything from
Holy
products
shit.
to like
What
your
on
wigs.
earth is
All in
this?
one place and on your terms. With Squarespace, you can get insights on your top traffic sources, track sales metrics, understand how your reach is growing, and even learn like focus on engagement. I mean, it's all the data you need to scale your brand or business, fully integrated and clearly displayed.
And that
So,
is the
Paul,
end.
you're going to need a
Holy shit.
Squarespace because if you're going to be selling more of these wigs, you're going to need all the tools that Squarespace can provide. And on top of that, you might want to think of like what your website domain would be. What about like and call? Head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/darkhistory to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/darkhistory. I'll be looking out, Paul. William Charles McCready was born in London on March 3rd, 1793. His father was a theater manager, and his mother was an actress. So you could say like he was born into this world, and it was in his blood. It turns out when William went to school, he discovered that he loved acting, and he was actually like pretty good at it too. So William naturally seemed to gravitate towards reading plays. He loved Shakespeare and performing long monologues for the people. You know, he would even ditch school to like go see performances, and he was obsessed with the whole thing, the actors, the showmanship, the drama. He loved it. In 1803, William was just 10 years old. His mother passed away, and after that, William's dad couldn't afford to send him to the fancy school he was attending before. So William comes back home, and he finds out his father is in like a bunch of debt, and now he has to start making money for the family. So he's like, oh man, like no more performing for fun, you know, time to work. Because his dad was struggling financially, William had to help out with the family
Holy
business
shit.
and management, and he's able to turn all this into a pretty positive experience. William is now like getting a behind-the-scenes look at the industry by day, and by night he stays to watch the plays. And also he's like studying the best actors in London. I mean, really, this was better than going to that fancy school. And he's hustling. He's a responsible young man. He's more passionate than ever to just follow his dreams. So when he's 17, William got his big breakout role, starring as Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. And this really like sealed the deal for William. Once he heard the audience's standing ovation, I mean, he was hooked. He wanted more. And more is what he got. William would end up playing something like 70 roles over the next few years. Many people loved William, but you know what they say. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach on the tree, action
a
and it really
lightsaber
showed on
in
stage. Because of that,
Lego
audiences
Fortnite.
just really gravitated towards him. So when he's 22 years old, William gets offered an amazing 5-year contract to play at a theater called Covent Garden. Now, this was on the West End, which is like the British version of Broadway. So this was a very big deal. And he was like, I made it, Daddy! You know, it's just like roles just started being offered to him left and right. But there was one role William was dying to play. Actually, every actor wanted to play this role. It was a lead role in King Lear, which was a play about a king who was like losing his
Dude,
mind.
I love how easily these oranges fucking peel that I got.
The actual king of England at the time, I guess he was going deaf and blind, and the people kind of thought he was, you know, a little insane. So the king actually banned this play from
Oh, there's
never being
another new one.
performed while he was alive. He's like, you guys, oh my god, please don't make fun of me. I'm the king. So when the actual king finally died, William was ready to put on a show. He gets a starring role in King Lear.
It's a
He performs so
ziggy-zaggy one.
well that it completely changes the theater scene. Like, everyone wanted to go see his performance. Even people who didn't care about theater. And that's when, you know, the money comes rolling in. In 1828, William becomes the highest paid actor in all of Britain. So this is major. Yeah, that's major. Good for him, right? So as William's career is thriving over in England, there's another actor who was coming into popularity across the pond in America. And he was coming for William's crown. So over on the East Coast of America, a boy named Edwin Forrest was born on March 9th, 1806 in Philadelphia. Now Edwin didn't have any family connections to the theater, but he started reading Shakespeare in his free time.
Holy fucking windy road. Oh my gosh, I saw all of the track coming up and my brain went, oh my god.
When Edwin was young, he also suffered a major loss.
What the actual fuck, man?
Edwin was just 12 years old. For a while, Edwin worked on the docks of Philly to help his mom cover the household bills. Then, when he was 14 years old, he tried out for a play and got a part. Not any old part. He played the leading man in a play called Douglas. And he must have done well because the critics loved Edwin. Now, this was big because back then there was this belief that all the best plays and the best actors only came from England. But Edwin over here, he was breaking boundaries. Okay, well, after this performance, you'd think Edwin would be getting offered role after role. Then, out of nowhere, the theater manager pulls Edwin aside and he pretty much says, "We need stars, not actors." And the stars at this
Damn it.
time were the Prince.
Thought maybe there'd be
So
some
the
up there.
theater
Just
manager
was
essentially
not.
told Edwin, "You're American trash. Go away. Go back to working on the docks." So people think this is where Edwin's dislike of the Brits began, after being fired for not being British. But this only drove Edwin even harder to keep following his passion. He was going to prove them all wrong. And after this, Edwin starts performing with a traveling theater company where he toured all around America. This really fed his love for the country and his belief that no matter what the haters said, America had just as much culture to offer as England. Edwin, who was said to be a bit of a narcissist, really started to reject the British style of acting. That style was very subtle and held back. Their whole thing was less is more. But since the reviews were so good, it brought in great PR. So the investment in Edwin was really paying off for this theater. Now, meanwhile, William, remember our guy over in London? Okay. Well, he got offered a gig performing at the Park Theater in New York. So he takes the offer and comes to America, ready to own theater just like he did in England. It was kind of like a new challenge for him. Now, the Park Theater was more traditionally British, snobby, people wore suits and stuff.
Man, there's a lot of speed
But the
run
Bowery
stuff.
Theater that Edwin was at was more American, relaxed, and really becoming its own. It was figuring out what American theater was, really. Because remember, theater is still seen as a very British thing at this time. And American theater is new and it's finding its own identity. So both William and Edwin are performing at their theaters. The newspapers were mainly focusing on William's performance. And those papers barely mentioned what Edwin was doing at the Bowery. Edwin was like, what's going on? He's getting pissed. He's feeling like William was stealing his thunder on his own territory. He's like, killing myself to die upon a kiss. And also, hello, pay attention to me. Do you not see how amazing I'm doing over here? Have you not seen this performance? So, the press, they started pitting them against each other. Edwin in one corner was the people's actor, and William in the other corner was like the critic's favorite. And naturally, these two really start to hate each other because there's only room for one person in the theater spotlight. It's gonna be me. Hey, Joan got a new pool. Yeah, she has a pool at her house, I know, rich. So we're gonna love having pool days this summer. Imagine laying by the pool, soaking up the sun, and of course letting Paul be in charge of the cocktails. He makes some good ones, stiff as a bone. But, the sun is very unforgiving. And besides our SPF, we always make sure to include our liquid IV to keep us hydrated. A single stick of liquid IV makes ordinary hydration extraordinary, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Plus, there's 8 vitamins and nutrients. What? Yeah. You didn't know? Oh my god, I'm telling you right now. I personally am a really big fan of Concord Grape. Ooh, Concord Grape all day. And Paul loves the strawberry lemonade liquid IV. It's so good and it's very convenient. All you have to do is open up one of these little packs and you mix it into your water. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Who would have thought, huh? And hey, it's also non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Plus, they have 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. A 0 sugar hydration solution with no artificial sweeteners. I'm telling you, the best way to continue having fun in the sun is by staying hydrated with Liquid IV. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code DARKHISTORY at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code DARKHISTORY at liquidiv.com. Now let's get back to our little tropical pool music. Are you gonna have a pool boy, Joan? I sure hope so. So Edwin is fuming over all the attention William is getting, and he's like, I gotta one-up this guy. So first thing he's thinking is okay, I need to stop performing all that same stuff that William is performing. He wanted to do something different. He wanted to stand out and create roles that only he could play. So first, Edwin is okay, I need some new scripts. So, in 1828, he sponsors the first ever playwriting competition in the United States. Edwin announces that he's offering a prize of $500 and the money from 1 night of ticket sales to the winner of this competition. And mind you, $500 back then is $16,000 today. So, that's nice. Very generous. But Edwin was really doing this to just kind of get a bunch of free plays written for him. He's like, no one will know. So to enter the contest, there were some rules. one script called Metamora, and it was written by a man named John Augustus Stone. It was about an indigenous American who tries to befriend white settlers, but is betrayed and killed. Edwin thought, wow, this script is perfect. Edwin would star as the main character in the play, an indigenous American named Metamora. Was Edwin indigenous? Of course not. Metamora would debut on December 15th, 1829, but this performance would not be at the Bowery Theater. He was thinking, maybe a new location. How about the Park Theater, aka William's new territory? Yeah, Edwin knew what he was doing. I mean, this was William's new audience, but Edwin, he was up for the challenge. Now, I'm assuming the performance did well because it led to him creating over 200 more plays about indigenous Americans. And riding on the high of his success at the Park Theater, Edwin was ready for a new challenge. And in 1834, he set sail to London to conquer the British theater scene. Or, maybe Edwin just really wanted to stick it to William in his homeland. So when Edwin gets to London, he shows up and performs some Shakespeare, giving the audience what they wanted. And he even performs some of his own American plays. But to his surprise, it does not get a warm welcome from the Brits. He's like, no fruit basket? Nothing? Do you not know who I am? I am Edwin. So this is interesting. William hears about this lukewarm reception that Edwin is getting in London. So William's like, aw, that's so sad. I should go watch. So he attends several of Edwin's performances. As the years pass, the tables start to turn, and the audience kind of starts to get Edwin's whole thing. And even if critics were bashing him, his name was still being said, which was bringing in sales. And really that's all that mattered because it made Edwin relevant in London. So it's 1843 and William decided to do another tour in America. But this one would be a little different. He starts his tour in New York at his favorite location, the Park Theater, with the performance of Macbeth. But this time William is no longer the Prince of Park Theater. So William was all sorts of confused. The American press and public were still in love with Edwin after his playwriting contest that really no one else could compare. People wanted new stories, no longer this boring Shakespeare stuff. So when William performs Macbeth, he doesn't get anywhere near the attention he had expected. And I guess he does not take that very kindly. In fact, it refuels his deep hate towards Edwin. But Edwin, he's a little older now. He has more experience under his belt, and he wanted to play nice. He was like, I'm over this petty drama. So when William plays in New York, Edwin actually reaches out and invites him over to his house for a friendly conversation. And William accepts. I guess William even stays at Edwin's home for a few days before he goes on the rest of his tour. But all seems well. Almost too well. William's tour only lasts about a year, and he cries himself back to England in 1844. Edwin's like, beautiful. And he's feeling, a little cocky. So Edwin decides he's going to go back to England again. And when he shows up, he decides to take over William's stomping grounds in England once more. It's like, what's going on, Edwin? I thought you were being nice. Oh, nay, nay. Edwin performs Othello, a role that he knew he was good at. So it's the middle of the performance. Edwin is on stage being like, me, 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 me. When someone in the crowd literally gets up and hisses. I imagine that's how it sounds. And Edwin is like, excuse me? What is this? He's very confused. And at this time, hissing was worse than booing or flipping someone off. It was the ultimate disrespect, especially if it was done in public. So Edwin's like, what the fuck? But Edwin continues on like nothing happens, a professional, you could say. And he thinks to himself, maybe it was a sneeze, so he carries on. But then it happens again. This time, a different person stands up and hisses at him. Edwin tries to ignore it. But then another person gets up and hisses. And then another. It's just like a snake storm. Everyone is just heckling and hissing at Edwin. look, it was a bad night. And Edwin kind of like shakes that off and is like, you know what, tomorrow's a new day, it's going to be better for me. So he goes back to the theater the next day, but the exact same thing happens during his performance. A snake storm just I'm not a hiss, but you get it. In Edwin's mind, he's thinking these must be snakes sent by William. On that second night, some of the audience members stand up for Edwin and tell the hissers to shut up. And it was like Team Edward versus Team Jacob. You know Twilight? It was like that. But things were getting ugly between the actors, and now the fans were getting in on it. Now, then the reviews start coming out about Edwin's performance, and they were not looking good. They were basically saying, like, Edwin is a tacky American knockoff of William. Ooh. Fighting words. Not long after this, Edwin was on his way to perform in Paris. But suddenly his tour plans just fall through. The Paris stage manager won't talk to him. The British playwright won't let him use the scripts that he was going to perform. He was like basically shut out from the theater. Come to find out, some of the reviews that were written about his performance.
I was gonna do some pew pew. Okay, we're gonna do at least one pew pew. One pew pew. And then we go into Lego Man. Lego.
Coincidence? I think not. Of course not. Well, when Edwin finds out the truth, he was ready to fight. Edwin decides to get...
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Portland offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments, and this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 503-944-1111. That's 503-944-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sometimes you just make good choices, like discovering a tractor that's durable, is affordable and great looking. On the TYM T25 right now, get 0% for 60 months or a TYM tractor.
And when he enters the theater, he makes sure everybody
Okay,
can
Blue
see
Bear.
that he's there.
I got you. I love you too.
Well,
You think chicken sandwich, not mac and cheese?
is on stage delivering one of
Yeah, chicken sandwiches are quite delicious.
Edwin takes this moment to stand up in his box, where everyone can see him.
And I was planning on using the Hawaiian rolls that I have to make some chicken sandwich with those. I feel like two stuck together would be poison. Eat a bounty. Deal damage to an opponent from above.
There's beef, okay? There's beef.
Oh wait,
Now,
you know what?
apparently after the hiss, Edwin just sits back down and watches the rest of the show.
Do this one.
Like no big deal. I mean, he still wanted to get his money's
Here?
worth. I mean, he
Oh
got
my god,
those fancy box
is
seats,
Aphrodite's
right,
place
stay.
called Lovely
Now, of course,
Lodge?
everyone in the audience
That is
noticed
that.
this.
Oh, it's called Lovely Lodge. Oh, I love that so much.
The loudest hits in theatrical annals for resounded over the British Isles and the continent of North America. And in other words, it's like, is the hiss heard around the world? Edwin even publishes a letter in the London Times basically defending his right to hiss. In the letter, he essentially said that William had ruined Hamlet and that he wasn't the only one who felt this way. Spicy. Now this got a lot of attention. Friends of Edwin and William clapped back. I mean, they were sending in their own letters, and drama. It was drama. Even after Edwin returned to America, there continued to be heated exchanges between the actors and different newspapers. Well,
hey.
mostly from Edwin.
Mooiisstt.
While this feud went from petty
Does
theater
Aphrodite
drama
not
to a
exist
bloody
anymore?
riot in the streets. Okay, so, listen. On November 22nd, 1847, a new theater was opened in New York City. It was called the Astor Place Opera House. It was financed by America's first millionaire, John Jacob Astor. And it was like a super bougie theater having
See her to hire anywhere.
columns at the entrance, about 2,000 seats, and it was in a super nice area of Manhattan. So basically, Astor Place was like spot in town. It represented the future of theater in America, and all the richest people in the city wanted to go see a show here. So if you got in the door of Astor Place, I mean, everyone knew that you had money, and you were part of, like, the elite class. Well, in 1848, William came back to America for a farewell tour. He's like, one last ride in the States, and then I'm retiring. And the main role he performs this time around is, again, Macbeth. It's like, pick a new one, but he's good at it, whatever, okay. William's first New York show with Astor goes splendidly. It goes so well that at the end of the night, William decides to make a speech. He comes out after the show and thanks the audience for supporting him. And he's like, I know there's been a lot of drama between me and that other guy, but I'm glad I'm performing in front of this audience tonight. An audience who really understands the art. Thank you for being here today. Now, it kind of sounds polite, but essentially, he was dragging Edwin and his fans without saying their names specifically. But, naturally, everyone knew who he was talking about. Little does William know, a friend of Edwin's was in the audience. His name is James Oates. Well, he hears this. He runs and tells not only Edwin, the whole town, what William said. Yeah, James here's a little pot stir. I like him from afar. Then James publishes a letter in the Boston Mail tearing into William. He brings up all the stuff about Edwin getting booed back in England, getting blacklisted out of performing in Paris, all because of William. The truth is coming out. And Team Edwin is like, wait a minute. I didn't know William was the one behind all that slander of Edwin. So they're getting a little spicy, a little beefed up, and they're mad. But Edwin decides to, bam, just kick it up a notch. He decides to put up a production of Macbeth starring himself just a few blocks from where William's performing. So he'd be performing the exact same play as William at the exact same time and essentially the exact same location. Not great. It's like when Dunkin' Donuts and like Starbucks open across the street from each other and you're like, well, which line's shorter? Because I'll go there. This is like the straw that finally breaks the camel's back. Or William's back, you could say. But he was done fighting with Edwin. William literally writes in his diary, I cannot stomach the United States as a nation. Let me get out from this country and give me a dungeon or a hovel in any other, just so I be free of this. Very dramatic, I love it. The performance just keeps escalating. At one of William's performances, a fan of Edwin's throws a dead sheep on stage, right at William. Yes, a dead sheep, blood guts, sheep. I know, I was like, first of all, how'd they get into the theater carrying a dead sheep? Okay, no one caught that? Alright. Did you have to buy an extra ticket for the sheep? Unsure. Could you imagine? So on May 7th, 1849, William McCready takes the stage at the Astor Place Opera House to perform Macbeth. Like usual, But this time the atmosphere is a little tense. Everyone is waiting for the next dramatic thing to happen, Is there going to be another sheep? Is anyone going to hiss? What's it going to be today? So the show starts, and it initially seems to be going okay. Little does William know, hundreds of Edwin's fans got their hands on his tickets. Now, there were rumors that Edwin himself bought the tickets and gave them to some of his more rambunctious fans. It's like a little giveaway, perhaps. Edwin's like, wink, wink, make sure you behave yourself, don't hiss. And definitely don't try to ruin the performance. Only if you have to. As soon as William's show starts, Edwin's fans, they start throwing stuff onto the stage. Then, they start throwing stuff directly at William. Now, at first, William was dodging pennies being thrown at him. Yeah, pennies. And then came the potatoes. People were throwing potatoes. So it was dodging potatoes, shit, and then splat. Someone was out there throwing rotten eggs. Then, apples. You name it, it was being thrown. No sheep. No sheep. By the end of the show, the crowd was ripping chairs off the floor and just going full little scary, to the point where William is like, you know what? You win. I'm just gonna go now. And he walks off the stage. Now William almost gives up.
Cheers to anyone lurking, twerking, watching incognitely. I hope you had a good weekend. First weekend of May.
Ignore the haters.
Actually,
So he does. He stays.
that's not right.
Then,
'Cause
3 nights later, the same thing
oh yeah,
happens.
first weekend of May.
Both actors
Yeah,
show
because
up for
Wednesday
their
was the
rival
first.
pet
Huzzah.
shows. But this time, signs are put up around town.
It's been a great end of
Working men,
April
shall
and
America
going
or
into
England rule
into
in
May.
this city? Basically implying that people had
I'm
to
actually
pick
starting to get
a
more excited
side.
for
They supported
moving.
William. They were little snitches for England. And only
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Portland offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments. And this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 503-944-1111. That's 503-944-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
real Americans supported Edwin. On the evening of May 10th, 1849, our divas, William and
Now
Edwin,
she's there.
gearing up once again for their rival shows. So just a few blocks away from each other, they each take the stage to
There she
perform
is
in
now.
health. Now that night, somehow more Edwin supporters get into the Place Theater. But the bigger problem was actually happening outside. A crowd starts to form. Some people were there because they wanted to actually see the performance, but some people were there strictly for the drama.
And now I can't hire her.
Some reports claim that the
man,
crowd
Amber,
swells to
that
around
was stupid.
10,000 people outside the Astor Place Theater. Other reports say it could have been as like high as 20,000.
Especially because I was okay with that shotgun. Man.
So this now represented the tensions between the working class Americans
That's what I get for
and
not
the
paying
elite
attention, huh?
Brits. And the wealthy Americans were like sided with the Brits. This was bigger than Edwin or William could have ever imagined. Inside where William was performing, the Edwin supporters who snuck in began causing a scene once again. They started throwing stuff, being violent.
Try to get to that
just
vault,
like they did a few nights
loot it,
before.
and then come back.
This time, the police show up and are
Hopefully
able to
there's no
round
one
a
there.
few people up, okay, and like store them in the basement for now. The cops are hoping to like keep them out of everyone's way until the show's over. But outside, girl, the crowd starts handing out pamphlets about how William and his fans are trying to make America British again. They're like, we fought hard for our independence. You gonna let this happen? And people are like, yeah, I don't want to live in Britain. I want to live in America. So they're getting all riled up. And then people in the crowd start picking up bricks, throwing them at the Astor Place Opera House. And then they try to
Seriously?
storm the theater. The police were there when they do what they can to stop it, but they're outnumbered. I mean, there are over 10,000 people there. Back inside, William gets worried about like what's happening outside. And he knows how the story goes from his experience a few nights ago. So William, he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here, okay? And he goes back to his hotel room. He hides there for the rest of the night. He would end up spending the rest of the night just in fear that the angry fans would find where he was staying and maybe kill him. So he's hiding. So the people who were locked in the basement of the Astor Place somehow like start a fire. Now, I'm not sure what their end goal was here, but this is what they did. So now smoke was pouring out of the basement. And it was clear, like, the theater is on fire, okay? There's smoke everywhere. So, people are in the theater, and there's, like, smoke everywhere. Their eyes are watering. They're reaching out looking for their friends. Like, Bertha! Is this how Macbeth is supposed to end? Is this supposed to be an experience like this? By 9:15 p.m., the crowd in the streets is so violent that the government ends up sending in the National Guard. Now, these guys are supposed to, be able to really get things under control. But even these soldiers were unable to stop the crowd from rioting. The National Guards are firing their guns into the air as a warning, but, that's cute. It doesn't do anything. So they pull out their
tempting, but I'm supposed to use this
He's kind of like that Homer
blaster
Simpson
for
meme.
something.
You know, where Homer's like disappears into the bushes. Yeah, that's William. In February of 1851, William performed one final time for
It's a
about
big
4
pot.
years, and then he
Interesting.
retired. He lived a quiet life for the next 22 years in the English countryside, where he then died at age 873. By September 1849, 10 people were held responsible for inciting the bloody Astor Place riot and sent to prison. During the trials, the National Guard and
Shit.
New York police were found totally innocent. The courts ruled that they had acted, quote, within reason. The total number of people killed during the riot was around 31 people, but over 100 others were seriously injured. Many of the people killed were working class people who got caught up in the first celebrity beef in America. Unfortunately, in one night, the Astor Place Opera House had become the scene of the most deadly riot in the history of the United States, and it stayed that way for over a decade. The Astor Place Opera was completely ruined. It permanently closed its doors and was sold off for like $140,000. In 1890, the building was renamed Clinton Hall, and I guess it still stands in New York today. So much for its big promise of bringing more theater to the masses, huh? Edwin Forrest continued to act for 2 decades after the riot, just completely unfazed. He was on the stage until his death in 1872, and I think it's safe to say Edwin was the winner of this beef. Even though everyone is long
I have to
gone, you
take.
still see the effects of the riot today. For one, according to Professor Bruce McConaughey, Astor Place was basically the first and last theater riot ever. And as a direct result of the Astor Place riot, the New York police started to carry guns. Yeah, before all this, the NYPD wasn't armed, which is why they had to bring in the National Guard in the first place. And overall, security at most theaters around the world tightened, and audiences were more divided than ever. Shakespeare and plays in general became more reserved for like
I was
the
gonna
middle
play
and
more,
upper
but
classes.
I'm kind of feeling
While
like
fewer working class
I'm
people
gonna
went to the
maybe
theater.
just
Instead,
end the
they flocked to
meeting,
other forms
and
of entertainment, like vaudeville
I'm
shows.
gonna end up
The
packing
entire
some stuff
industry
because I
class
feel
division
motivated
that
to pack
existed
some
in
stuff. So,
America a little
but
worse. And it makes you
yeah,
wonder,
thank
is
you
this
to
the reason
anyone that's
why
been
theater
lurking, twerking,
feels so
watching
out of
incognitely,
touch?
watching
So
this
many
later on as
people,
posted
especially in
content. I
America,
hope you
don't
have
have
a
access to theater or don't even
stupendous
want it.
rest
Maybe
of
because it
your
still kind of
weekend
feels like an
and
upper
day.
class
It's 2:30 in the
privilege thing.
afternoon for me
I
on
mean, do you think this
Sunday.
riot has
Um,
anything to do with
I'm
this?
either going to just
Well, let me know down
relax or I'm
below.
gonna pack up
Seems like it's
my
hoping
daughter's
people
stuffed
did, but
animals.
maybe
That
here in
way,
America we
like,
just don't
there'll be
care.
2 boxes.
We
One
like
says Amber
McDonald's in
Senior
movie
Stuffy, and
theaters.
the other one say
Maybe
Amber
she
Junior
says.
Stuffy. So it's gonna be so
Speaking
cute.
of crappy
But
looking
anyways, until next
fans,
time, and
next week
always,
we're going to
I
dig into
truly hope you're being kind to yourself and everyone else. I'll see you next time. Bye.